Welcome in, latest episode of the Roush Hour. I've already been asked not to ask about Kentucky, so we're not going to go there. But our buddy Nick Roush, Kentucky Sports Radio 11 personnel. What's up, buddy?
Well, we might have to go there a little bit, but I spend a lot of my weeks talking about bad offense, so I'm excited to talk about the Florida Gators.
Buddy.
I've made this point previously on the Roush Hour here on that SEC podcast. Appreciate y'all joining us today. But part of why I enjoy this is like I can spot out the bad ball because I've seen this before. And what Florida fans are experiencing, it's got to feel like deja vu all over again. Hell, as a Kentucky fan, I was watching some of that Bears game last night. I've seen that game before. Florida fans have seen this game before. They should have known that this was coming because you know who's calling those plays? Billy Napier. We can get to the big picture thing in a second, but first off, I got a question for you, Michael. Is Alex Golesh better than Josh Heupel?
No, of course not. Of course not. But I think if you didn't know by now, he was critical to that 22 run that Tennessee had.
It's you got to give them their flowers first. Yeah, I know they're not an SEC team, but like South Florida was back when the Big East was fun. It was like that 07 year South Florida. They had West Virginia, Louisville, Rutgers. It was like there's like 3 or 4 teams at the top of that league. It was a lot of fun, but they have just sucked ass ever since. They've been so bad. Just retread hire after retread hire. They've been so terrible. And for Golesh to come in there and do this in year 2, like he just skyrocketed up all of the coaching carousel boards. Like, I mean, how many Florida fans out there right now are like, can we get that guy to be our coach? You know what I mean? And the other part that's crazy is he had this reputation for being one of the Heupel offensive guys, and he's doing this without any offense. Like, the quarterback's fine, but like, the big play was a screen.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what the other big play was? It was 14 guys on the field running off right before the snap, and then they're like all staring at the sideline, and then all of a sudden the ball's in the air and 2 guys run into each other and it's a 66-yard touchdown. Because those mistakes are defining the Billy Napier era. And going into this year, there was a lot of talk about, well, you saw the end of last season, they've turned a corner. It's clear it's the same old Billy Napier, the same guy who couldn't get enough guys on the field for special teams plays. Did you see the penalty stats here?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what killed him.
11 penalties for 103 yards. 103 yards. That's what?
Took a bunch penalties? Of touchdowns off the board with penalties.
Took multiple touchdowns off the board. You've got guys spitting on other dudes. You also had, I believe there was one like right in that final drive as well that kind of kept it alive, where it was I
think it was a pass interference type.
Yeah, and it was a little bang bang. But it's like when Billy Napier got to Florida, there were 2 reasons why you brought him there, and it wasn't just because he was successful at Louisiana Lafayette. Like, he won some big games. I remember opening that COVID season, they upset Iowa State. That was one of those, like, big-time hammers that I got out, and it was a great gambling win. You don't forget some of those big wins. Oh, no.
Shout out Tam B, gave us $50. She's a Reb. Love this podcast / channel. Great work, guys, and go Rebs.
I was having a good time not thinking about your team beating mine, and you just went and brought it up. Why you got to do me like that, Tam B?
Hey, we'll get back to Tam here in a second, but shout out, I think it was Titus in the comments. Maybe Spin Zone, Ultimate Spin Zone here. maybe South Florida is just really, really good. Would you buy that at all?
Yes, I can buy that to a degree, but the issue is that these are the same issues.
Yeah.
And you brought him in because, Dan Mullen, we'll talk about recruiting when it's time to recruit. Billy Napier can recruit. He's proven that, and it helps having NIL money. But secondly, you brought him in because this was Mr. I've got game changer coaches. I'm going to hire an army of support staffers, and we are going to be a fine-tuned machine. And they have never been that. Like, never, ever. They kind of got it together at the end of the last year, but they have just not been that at all. And that's the part that you really have to question, can he do it? Because maybe if he had a high-powered offense, you might think otherwise, but they ran 62 plays. Dude, it's one thing. I see this. I watch Mark Stoops play a similar style. For whatever reason, Billy Napier wants to play that style. You know why Mark Stoops plays that style? Because he's at a competitive disadvantage. He has to turn around and hand the ball off a bunch. Vanderbilt last year with Diego Pavia, like they had to play keep away. So like we're gonna be slow and methodical, move the ball. You got DJ Lagway. You got Trey Wilson. You got Vernell Brown. You know what they're doing with Trey Wilson? They're having him block unblocked defensive tackles for run plays. What are you doing? Like, why are you putting a governor on this engine, Billy Napier? It makes absolutely no sense. I don't understand the reasoning behind it. And I do completely sympathize with all the Florida fans who are like, dude, it's year 4. It's year 4. Why are you making the same old mistakes and only running 62 plays? Styles dictate fights. They let South Florida come into their house and force them to play their game. That shouldn't be happening in year 4.
Well, hey, how about that? You just hit on something critical. It's only year 4. I mean, this guy deserves time, Nick. Maybe year 5, year 6. Should we pump in the brakes a little bit on how quick we are to judge?
You are correct. I mean, year 13, maybe that's a little bit too much. But year 4 or 5, I mean,
we are literally one step away. I know you'll remember this because you probably bought one of these damn shirts. But do you remember at the end of the Butch Jones era, it was all the rival fans. They were buying shirts that said, keep Butch. He deserves more time. Like we are days away perhaps from the rest of the SEC buying Florida. Please give Napier some more time. You know what? Hey,
Mark Stoops turned it around in year 4. 1 through 3 weren't great, but year 4 he turned it around. It is one of those things too where it's like I don't even want to like who's to say that they don't go in there and play LSU tough and then. Like, it's almost like he kind of needs to be humbled in order to coach well. Like, he needs to basically be on the precipice of being fired before he starts coaching well, because that's what happened last year. So, it wouldn't shock me if they found something, and I would really like it if he did. I'm just saying. It would be really nice. They could recapture some of that magic in Gainesville.
Shout out Colton to give us $5. We are hurting in the woods out in old Gainesville. He regresses talent. AD won't fire. Politics, egos, simply delusional incompetence, waste of talent. And again, I know this is not like an apples to apples necessarily comparison, but I threw this stat up on Sunday and it went pretty viral. So he's 20-20, Billy Napier, after 40 games at Florida. Dan Mullen was 31-9. McElwain, who they ran his ass off because they hated him, he was 22-12. He didn't get to 40. They fired him, but he still had more wins than Napier.
That's crazy.
Muschamp, 24-16, who they ran his ass off because he wasn't good enough, better. And then, of course, Urban Meyer, 31-9. So those are your last 4 coaches. Napier's got a worse record than all of them.
You understood that Dan Mullen was burning a little hot and fast, and there was a train coming at the end of the tunnel from down the tracks. But at least Dan Mullen did something well. Like, what would somebody say that Billy Napier does well? He's just given the benefit of the doubt because the schedule's hard and they don't even have like all of his bosses are interim bosses, right? Like,
yeah.
they've got like a weird president situation, AD situation. They don't want to pay the money for it. So, you know what?
Wouldn't it be the most Billy Napier thing though for them to go on a damn run here?
And that's the thing is I could see them beating Miami. I mean, I'm high on LSU, but I could see them beating Miami and keeping it close with Texas. You know, maybe Arch throws some picks or something, and Lagway's the one who steps up. And hell, even A&M, like it wouldn't surprise me in the least, because that's what they did a year ago. Like they've done this before. So yeah, I think it's doable. And it would be a real shame if it did. It'd be a real shame if they were able to. Because you're right. We need more Sunbelt Billy.
We do. And we need more of JR the legend. Nick, he's back. He donates a membership on every show. Shout out.
What a guy, JR.
JR, he gifted MR Mudden. JR, thank you so much. I'm going to play your jingle because you've earned it.
Legend, Cousin JR has done it again.
Thank you.
Wow.
Welcome to the family.
And then another legend we got. He's back, Nick, because his Bama, they whooped ass this week. Steven Up. He's even got his own jingle because he gifts every time too.
Always showing up for them boys in Tuscaloosa. It's Steven Up. Roll Tide.
Thank you, Steven. He gifted to Kyle Fort. I butchered that, but Kyler, welcome to the family. We appreciate you, Steven Up. Thank you so much. But hey, since we got that 50 banger from Tam, I know you don't want to discuss it, but $50, we have to.
Yeah, we have to. They're
what
dragging me to.
Did we ever get a damn answer on what the hell Stoops was doing, not kicking a field goal when it was like 4th and 7 and they were down? I know, like there wasn't like an eternity in the game, but wasn't there like 7 minutes left and it was I believe it was a 1-score game at that point.
Well, essentially the explanation, if you missed it, Kentucky went for it twice on 4th down inside the Ole Miss 30. It was 4th and longs. They were 4th and 7, I think 4th and 9. But they were down 7. So, like, the thinking there is you're going to have to score a touchdown eventually. Right. And it's kind of like why they say you go for 2 when you're down 14. Because if you get it once, then you're on the first try, you're gravy. But you give yourself another chance to get that 2-point play. And so I guess in this theory, they were giving themselves multiple chances to convert the 4th downs. But ultimately, it never felt like it was close. I mean, Bush Hamden gets Cutter Boley in the game. He's finally looking like they've got a competent quarterback back there. The redshirt freshman, former blue chip recruit. It's 3rd and 7, and they call a design quarterback run. The logic was, well, we got 4 downs. Like, let's try to get it closer, make it a 4th and manageable. You know who's good at running the ball? Not your 6'5", 200 pounds if wet, soaking wet quarterback. This is a rail thin beanpole. They're running him instead of handing the ball off to the back who's got 5.5 yards of carry and 2 rushing touchdowns, because that would just make too much sense.
Right.
I think if I'm going to try to take an objective, like just step back for a moment and look at both teams, there's I can say that Ole Miss isn't as good as people want them to be, but they'll probably still be good enough to win a lot of games. I think it's pretty like. I would like to buy some Austin Simmons stock for next year, because in 2 games, he's thrown 2 picks in his first 3 drives, and he's came back and kept slinging it. Now, was he great? No, he completed like 53% of his passes for 270 yards. A lot of those yards were just hitches, and we're going to break a tackle and get 30 more after that. But he had a rushing touchdown, and he didn't, like, as much as Kentucky rattled him, like, he didn't let those early picks drastically change the way that Lane wanted to operate. It wasn't always beautiful. It wasn't always perfect. But that's like a good sign for, like, long term once he does figure it out, once they even get better athletes out there. Because, like Harrison Wallace is a pretty good player. Deuce Robinson, pretty good player. But, those guys aren't the guys they had a year ago, right? So, like, I think that's a good long-term sign for Ole Miss, but Kentucky should have won that football game, but they just have a completely – I mean, they have the worst passing offense in college football.
Mm-hmm.
It's the worst passing offense in college football. Their play caller, since Bush Hamden got there, they've thrown more interceptions than passing touchdowns. They've only had one game against an FBS team with more than 250 yards passing. Only 3 with 200-plus yards. That's hard to do. Only 200? Like, it's pathetic. It's really bad. Kentucky's probably going to change quarterbacks, but I'm at the point I don't know if it'll work. I think Bush Hamden might just be bad. Like, that just might have been a really bad swing and a miss. But, it also doesn't help them that they have one of the worst receiving groups in the conference, if not the worst. So, Kentucky, I think the part that was most disappointing is they get 2 early picks. They're up 10-0, and they couldn't even have the offense just like, all right, let's milk some clock here. And I know you got back into this game with a big play, Ole Miss, but turn around, hand the ball off, run the damn ball some, chew up some clock. And they didn't do it. They at least, you give them a little bit of credit for going down and tying it up in the third quarter. But like, I'm very old school in a lot of my analysis. It's like if you can run the damn ball and milk the clock, that's a superpower, right? Like Oklahoma did it. Ole Miss did it. They just said, screw it, we're gonna put the Wildcat quarterback in, really mess with you, and run around. And they milked like 5 minutes off the clock and got that late field goal that made it a 2-score game.
Mm-hmm.
That's a superpower that Kentucky should have, and their offense coordinator doesn't want to do it or they just can't do it. Either way, the offense stinks. It's bad, which leads me to think like, Ole Miss, you still, you're number 20 is a good spot for you. I don't know where they're at, but they're just a fine team. They're a very middle of the road. 8-4, 9-3 in a good year SEC team. Like I don't think they're great, but you do pull up the schedule and they got all these games at home.
Yeah, Arkansas this week, Tulane, LSU. I mean, that's.
Can I point out something too for if you want to see some fans melt down? I know not all of y'all here on this channel are locked in to what's happening in Kentucky, but that Tulane game on September 20th.
Mm-hmm.
It's coached by a former Kentucky assistant who worked for Mark Stoops, former Kentucky linebacker who worked for Mark Stoops, and his name is John Summerall. And there is a real fear and anxiety in Lexington that they will not take action in time, and Summerall will go somewhere else. He is our golden goose, our prodigal son. If he beats Ole Miss at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium, and Kentucky loses to South Carolina, or the South Carolina game's the week after. Kentucky hasn't won a home SEC game since September of 2023.
And who they beat, I bet you know.
Billy Napier.
Yeah, so that what spinning it all the way back to Billy.
Yeah,
this is the last thing, and then we can move on because I don't want to see you cry here. But given Kentucky's upcoming slate, now Eastern Michigan, who cares? So they should comfortably beat that.
Yeah,
but then at South Carolina, at Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, hell, even Auburn is looking decent. That's who's Kentucky's got coming up. Florida, of course, at LSU, at Miami, Texas, at A&M. Who fires their coach first, Kentucky or Florida?
Florida has the benefit of owing less money to fire Billy Napier.
Mm-hmm.
They would only owe like 10 up front, whereas Stoops would need 3 times that right away. So Billy is definitely the first to go. I mean, we didn't even bring that up.
Billy to Kentucky.
If you pointed, like, I would have loved to have seen those other coaches' records against Kentucky. Dan Mullen lost twice, I believe. I think he was like 2-2 against them or 3-2. But Billy almost lost his first 3. Dude, you cannot. Coaches Coaches in this league get fired if they lose to Kentucky more than once. They just do. Steve Spurrier retired from South Carolina when he lost to him for the second time because he couldn't handle it. He was too embarrassed. Like, Billy is not going to be able to last. He's just not going to be able to. Not going to be able to. As bad as Kentucky is, too, at offense, you know who else really sucks at offense?
Who's that?
The next team they play in the SEC, South Carolina. It's weird. Like, Mike Shula can't call plays. I mean, I was stunned when I looked at some of these numbers. I was stunned at some of these numbers from the South Carolina game. They're playing South Carolina State, an FCS team. And I get it. There's a lightning delay. Like, that screws with things. But, like, you have a first-round quarterback. You know how many passing yards he had in that game? 128. This final score looks fine, right? At the end of the day, it's like, all right, you won by 4 tutties, whatever. You know where they got 3 of them from? Not from the offense. 3 non-offensive touchdowns. And I know that, like, it's a little – like, Beamer, you actually can almost bank in the special teams. Like, it's not sort of just, like, random one-off. They're good for one every other game, basically, at this point, at this rate. But that offense is very, very pedestrian, and it shouldn't be with the athletes they have, but they just might have a terrible, terrible play caller. So that's one of those teams that I'm not sure. Who's up on their schedule next, Mike? Can you pull that up?
Yes, so South Carolina's got Vanderbilt, who's looking red hot, and then at Missouri, who's undefeated.
How are they going to score with those teams? Just like where are they going to get their points? Are they going to have to just pick 6, strip sack, and punt return you to death?
And Vanderbilt they did have 2 turnovers against Virginia Tech, but they are generally pretty conservative with the football.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it took Pavia 6 weeks to throw a pick last year.
Right. So, and I don't know how much stock to put in the fact that they both played Virginia Tech, but Vanderbilt whooped their ass in Blacksburg, and South Carolina kind of struggled with them on a neutral field. So,
Vandy, have you seen the line for this game, Michael? What? This can't be right. No!
Carolina by 5.5 right now.
Oh man, I saw the opening line, and Vegas hammered it down from 8.5 to 5.5. I was like, oh, please let me see. This is why I got to be more active on the gambling, on my bookie on Sunday. Because 8.5, I mean, we might have to money line this. Vandy, that was a great segue. Great job, Roush. Great segue. But like, I thought Vandy and Missouri, those are the next 2 teams on South Carolina's schedule. I thought they had very similar setups, if you will, where it's like these are big these are big games, but they're non-conference. So like, if you don't win them, like it isn't the end of the world, even though it may feel like it at the time, and particularly for Vandy, going on the road to Lane Stadium. That's going to be a raucous crowd. They're starving for a big win. Did that game go to overtime last year in Nashville, or did it like just flirt with overtime?
No, it went in overtime.
Yeah. So like, that this is going to be a close, competitive game. It's tied, or no? They were losing at halftime, correct?
They were, yeah.
They were losing 20-10 at halftime. The second half stats: 321 total yards to 21 yards for Virginia Tech. In the third quarter, the Hokies had 1 yard. It was the coach Yost, not another yard. And they didn't do it. Like that, I know SEC versus ACC, like they're especially in the trenches, like there's a difference there, right? But that is supposed to be probably the 4th or 5th best team in that league. They're in that like upper middle class of the ACC. Kyron Jones' talent. Like, for them to dominate, like not just win and overcome a deficit to win, they kicked Virginia Tech's ass. Like they've got everyone pulling on the same rope over there. They know their identity. And what's crazy too is like they got 490 yards, but it's spread all over the place. Cedric Alexander's got 10 carries for 73. And then, Young's got 8 for 95. Like, Pavia only threw for 200 yards. He rushed for, 60. Nothing is ever crazy here. Yes, they're going to throw it to Stowers a little more, but they are just they are playing. It's almost like old school Saban murder ball. And now, like, Saban's murder ball was suffocate you with defense. This is like, we're going to suffocate you with 7 and 8 yard plays. And it just is like, what do you do? They stress you so much. I'm loving Vandy at South Carolina this weekend. If you couldn't tell, maybe Dylan Stewart can come in there, and actually it's Evan Stewart, right? Or what?
No, Dylan.
Okay, because there's a Dylan Edwards at Kansas State, and then there's a Stewart out at Oregon. I get them all mixed up. But
that's the Evan.
There we go.
Oregon.
But like you could maybe see, like, South Carolina's probably going to eat up a couple of those drives, but the way that Vandy plays keep away, I mean, Sellers is going to have to be a superhero in that game, an absolute superhero to get it done, which sounds so crazy to say. I mean, that's my question for you. How good can Vandy be? I mean, you don't want to overreact to beating up an ACC team. I mean, it's ACC after all. But, like, I mean, is this a team that can mess around and win 9 games? Who's to say they can't be Bama again?
Here's the deal, Nick, and I'm glad you said it. You rattled off a lot of names there. If you've not watched a ton of Vanderbilt football this year, they have added a lot of speed. They've added weapons. So this is not last year's necessarily where they would dink and dunk you and eat the clock. They still have some of that in them. I think they did that in the second half, but against Virginia Tech, but they didn't do that for much of the game because they were losing in the first half. So now they've got weapons.
I mean, they had 5 plays of 15-plus yards through the passing game, and then 7 rushes like that. So they are more explosive.
And I think they have the best, most complete tight end in college football in Stowers, who you mentioned, but they've not really even got him involved yet. They haven't needed to. So he's more of a decoy. He's more of a blocker. He's more of a piece that the defenses know they've got to be wary of where he's at. So at some point, this is a game where Carolina, you're going to need big-time players to step up. This could be a Stowers game. And you mentioned Mike Shula. I'm not sure you're aware of this stat, Nick, but we could go back to even the bowl game, which that may not be fair because bowl games are kind of weird and wonky and all that.
Right.
But 3 games as offensive coordinator for South Carolina under Mike Shula, if we count the bowl game, they've scored 17 offensive points in all of them. So I don't.
Good. Yeah.
Now, again, they may score like on special teams, the defense, but if they score 17 offensive points against Vanderbilt, they're going to lose the game. I'll just tell you that.
I know the transitive property is not infallible, but we have the common opponent. We've seen it. It's right there. Like South Carolina kind of struggled. I mean, that offense labored, and you could say, well, it was week 1, neutral site, but after that first drive, they struggled to do anything. And Vandy's Pavia's throwing 54-yard touchdown passes, 34 unanswered points. Like they got punched in the mouth on the road and just put it on the table, just laid it down and steamrolled them. Like, so that's one where you just gotta, like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'll be shocked if I love the atmosphere at Williams-Brice Stadium. I think it's one of the best in college football. I will be surprised if they win this game. I just can't. Like, I don't know. I know how Vandy can do it. The formula for South Carolina seems to be let Sellers be a superhero and have some sort of beamer ball action happen.
Right. And the last thing I've got on this game, Nick, I don't know if you recall this, but it was during the summer. And Pavia did, I think it's called Bussin' in the Boys podcast. And they asked him, what is the one game that you want more than any other? And I thought it was a very interesting answer, but he said South Carolina. So the fact that he put that out there publicly, for most players, I think that's kind of a mistake, but Pavia is just such a unique guy where he's uber confident already. So I can only imagine, the confidence playing with that guy kind of gives you. And again, he's put this out there. Are you aware, Nick? Of course, these teams play that they may not in the future when they mess with the schedule, but
right.
These teams play annually. Do you know the last time Vanderbilt beat South Carolina?
1996.
Well, fairly close. 2008. But again, that's a long time for
that was the James Franklin. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gosh.
so,
Man, that's crazy.
maybe that's why Diego wants it. I don't know, but
it would be a big one too. You win this game, you'll be a top 25 team. You got 2 cupcakes right after that before you travel down to Tuscaloosa. I gotta say though, the schedulers, they gave them a 4-game stretch, or hell, a 5-game stretch at Bama. Bring LSU to town, bring Missouri to town, go to Texas, have Auburn come to town. That's not it's not an easy stretch. That's not an easy stretch whatsoever. But I'm not gonna lie, Vandy, Missouri sounds like one of the more entertaining games of the SEC season whenever we get to that, because Missouri, they did something really similar in that rivalry game against Kansas where the emotions are really high. They hadn't played that game in, I don't know, 15 years or something like that. And Kansas punched them in the mouth. It was 21-6 in the blink of an eye. And then we had another Coach Yost moment. And this one was even more ridiculous. In the second quarter, Missouri had 186 yards while trailing 21-6. Kansas had -18. -18. That's crazy. -18 yards. They completely owned that second quarter, tied the game back up, and then ran away with it in the second half. There's a lot of reasons to like. I think part of the reason why I like lumping these games together is because even though they don't mean something, they do tell you a lot about what to expect moving forward. And Missouri's going to score points against SEC opponents. They're going to. I know it's a different scale, and it's not going to be 42 or whatever it may be. But that rushing attack, I mean, when you don't have to have Ahmad Hardy be the guy, you have more than one, because he didn't even lead him in rushing. The other guy whose name escapes me right now, he popped off a big play.
Jamal Roberts, I think.
Yeah, when you have 2 of them that can go out and get you 100 yards in a game, and then Prabula is being efficient. The one guy that I overlooked this year going into the season, he's a great blast from the past for me, because he was in my city playing for a little while. Kevin Coleman, on his 4th school and 4th years, started at Jackson State, went to Louisville for a year. I think he probably had he's chasing these explosive offenses, right? So he tries the Jeff Brom thing, and he was like 2nd or 3rd fiddle there. So he goes to Mississippi State, but it was a rough year for Jeff Lebby in year 1. So he's like, screw this, I don't want to waste my time here. I don't necessarily trust a guy with 4 schools in 4 years, but that dude had 10 receptions for 126 yards. Like that sort of I can just run away from you. Every team needs to have one of those to be able to have a potent offense. Just this guy's so fast that if we don't try to take that away deep, we're cooked. And so what you do is then everybody's in the back of it, and then you can just run right underneath him. It's a great balance that they're playing, that Drink's playing right now with offense. And you know what? I do at least appreciate his awareness, because he's agitated me over the years, but he's like, I'm the biggest dork in this league. I'm just going to be it.
You're finally becoming a Drake fan?
A little bit. Well, because I think he's self-aware now. Right. Initially, I don't think he had the self-awareness like that, and so that bothered me. But he's self-aware now. But I don't know if you caught this or not, Mike. It might have been on Paul's show on Friday, where Drink said that him, Lane, and Stoops are in a group text, and they just go back and forth basically just talking shit.
Right.
And Lane's doing hot yoga, and Stoops is giving him guff, it's not the only time you're going to be sweating today. Are those like? Does that surprise you that it's those three guys? Because when I heard those, I was like, Mark Stoops and Drink get along? Like those two do not seem like they would mesh well at all.
Yeah, it is interesting when you put it that way. But I mean, Drink has done a fantastic job pissing off so many other coaches. Maybe these are the two that he's left that he's not kind of ticked off. You know what?
Yeah, that could be it, and it could be, like Missouri and Kentucky. We're very northern. Maybe there's some kindred spirits there, knowing that you're at a place that it's a little bit tougher. It's a little bit tougher, but I found that fascinating.
What I also found fascinating is the fact that I agree with everything you said. Drink seems comfortable in his skin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm trying not to read too much into this, but this is the damn weirdest thing I ever heard. I think the man may be cracking a little bit is Steve Sarkisian with his poop comments. Anybody that missed it? I mean, I thought this was AI when this happened. I had to verify, check with people down there covering the team. He actually said this when someone suggested that Arch Manning is hurt because he's grimacing in pain as he throws the football, which is a natural question to ask. He said, well, I don't put a camera on you when you're going to the bathroom. So, I mean, what do you make of that? And have you ever heard of something so bizarre?
So I can understand. That sounds like a comment of somebody that hadn't been through it before, right? Like that, dude, you coach for Saban. You got Arch to your school. You know the scrutiny that's going to come with it. Why are you acting surprised that the magnifying glass? You're at Texas, by God. Like this is what you should expect. And I mean, I know that I can't understand it, but you know what? I at least appreciate it, even if it didn't really make sense. Like, is he trying to say that Arch farted and that's why he was making that face? It didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But the over criticism, like I think the real question is, Arch might be able to handle Arch Mania. Can Sark handle it? Or does he need a bad quarterback to take the heat off of him, right? What if Sark actually isn't good and it's just we've used the quarterbacks as his shield over the years? Yeah.
Hey, I love that
take. Spin it around.
But I also love the fact, Nick, that Sark did this for me. I think really what he did, he knew this week we were sponsored by Tushy Bidet. So go check them out at hellotushy.com. Promo code ThatSEC to get you 10% off over at Hello Tushy. Nick, they sent this over to Shane and I.
Have you installed it?
Oh, I have. It's very easy to install. First of all, I should say that. But if
just like two hoses,
right? If Sark wants to put a camera in my bathroom, he's more than willing because, man, I'm on cloud 9 sitting on this damn Tushy. So again, that's hellotushy.com. Promo code ThatSEC, 10% off. Thank you, Sarkisian.
I can't stress this enough to you all. I'm not a home improvement guy, but I suck at it. But right before my wife had her first child, I was like, you ever wanted to try a bidet? So, hellotushy.com. I don't know anything about anything. I could figure out how to install it, get it in there, and seriously, it's. I can't recommend bidets enough in households enough. It is a complete game changer. Your life will never be the same. So join the bidet game. I'm telling you, don't need as much toilet paper. Everything's a lot easier, a lot cleaner. We were meant to grab a leaf and scrape poop out of our butt. It is just not natural. Let the bidet take care of you. It's natural. It just cleans you up. Bada boom, bada bam. You will thank us later. Seriously.
Yeah, you score major points with the misses too, like you alluded to.
Oh yeah, major points. Points. Which, speaking of major points, I didn't think I wasn't sure if Jeff Lebby had it in him, but boy, did he deliver a big one on Saturday night.
Arguably the biggest win of the SEC season.
It was. Oh, you can make that case, especially after watching Clemson struggle against Troy. But just the fact that that his team had enough character, enough heart to, they were putting it on Arizona State. They came out ready to play. And in a lot of these cases, these times you see these upsets where, the other team comes out with their hair on fire. They're motivated. This is a big spot. But then once they get through that first script or two and that initial wave of momentum, they ride it too fast and then they crash into the rocks and then they can't get back up on their board. This showed me an ability. Like they did crash, right? Like they ran into the rocks and it's like, dude, you've got a shell hanging out of your foot. We need to call the ambulance. You need to get out of here. And by God, that defense just bit off the end of it and said, screw it, tape it up. We're going back out there because, that was a demoralizing final drive by Arizona State. And I may or may not have taken the forks up and gone with the 6.5 points. I know Mississippi State was a popular underdog pick, and I was feeling great about it. I'm on my way home from Kroger Field. I got my phone up. I'm watching the final drive of this game, and it is as a demoralizing as just a like run it down your throat, 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 run it down your throat. Just sucked the life out of him, but it didn't kill him. And did that start from the 2? Did they get goal to go from the 2?
I don't know where it started, but I know they stuffed their ass to force a field goal, but it was very close to the goal line. Maybe
like the 4-yard line, and it's like ramming their heads against a wall. And I thought if they would have gone for it, if Arizona State would have gone for it on 4th down, that Mississippi State couldn't have stopped him again. But they stopped him on 3rd down, and Arizona State couldn't take that chance, right? Like, that took a lot of gall. And for Levy, he had all of his timeouts. He had the 2-minute timeout. He played it perfectly to where they had enough clock to be able to make that drive. And I thought to myself, man, they haven't done anything this entire second half. Are they really going to be able to get into field goal range, or is that rust just going to be too much? I don't know about you, but when I saw Brendan Thompson running with the ball, I was waiting to see the safety. I thought there would be a safety there, and it's just like, oh, God, he's going to score. He's going to score. And that just I don't know if I've ever said this. For that moment, I wanted to be in Starkville. I wanted to be with all those people because, Mike Leach, it took him a minute, but he gave that place an identity. His personality fit it perfectly. And, they were like everything was teed up for a huge year the following year with all the talent they had coming back, quarterback, everything was there. And to die suddenly, it took the entire wind out of the Magnolia State sails. It just did. And meanwhile, Lane's got it rocking and rolling, and you're just like, how? You have to feel like the most snake-bit fan base in the history of snake-bit fan bases. You just do when that happens. And then to go through, it's like, all right, we'll give Arnett a chance, but this isn't going to work. For Levy to go through that last year and for fans to, seriously question, was that our only shot at being good? For one night, he gave them hope back. He gave them one of those moments. Like, those are the moments that, this is why college football is the best sport, man. It's because of moments like that. So that's off to you, Jeff Levy, man. That was incredible.
Yeah, and I have some thoughts I want to share on that, but you just got me going down a rabbit hole, and I know I've never told you that. So I just want to share with you and the audience because I think you guys will appreciate this. 2 things. I don't really want to say who because I don't know if they want me to put it out there, but someone that interviews all these coaches at SEC Media Days. They interviewed Arnett the 1 year he was up there. They told me after, that may be the dumbest son of a bitch I've ever interviewed. That's a direct quote. And then I also heard, not directly from the source, but I heard that Coach O, I know he interviewed Zach Arnett at one point when Coach O was LSU coach, Arnett to be defensive coordinator. He said the same exact thing. I think that's the dumbest guy I've ever interviewed. So Arnett did not get the job, but I just thought that was fun. But no, I think, I don't know what's more impressive, Nick, the defensive turnaround, because they were dog shit at Mississippi State. They were just so bad.
Mm-hmm.
That has impressed me wildly, but I don't know if that's more impressive than getting up 17-0 in such a big time game and that lead just evaporating, what that can do to a program, a team that is in the state that Mississippi State entered that game. You know, you're a Kentucky guy, but Tennessee guy. How many times, hell, you just experienced it, but I feel like I experienced it about 20 times the last decade, where Tennessee gets a slight lead and then they just let it evaporate. I mean, it's so hard once you have a big lead to give it up and then come back and win.
The thought creeps in your mind, like, can we just end the game now? Like, there's a lot of games still left to go.
Right.
And I know that had to be going through their minds. I mean, how many people's ears got permanent damage from those cowbells ringing after that? You know what I mean? But that was as loud as I've ever heard it. Like, just hell, even the guys, it made me think too, because I was expecting this to be a Tom Hart SEC Network special, but instead they brought in Dave Fleming and Brock Osweiler, who usually call West Coast games, and I'm like, they got to be thinking, what the hell did we get ourselves into down here?
Well, hey, I know someone else that thought that. That's probably Michigan, Nick. Any thoughts on Oklahoma? You know,
oh man,
they may have turned the corner. It may be a bit premature given the schedule to say that, but hell, with this defense and this quarterback, I think they can play with anybody in this damn conference.
So here's the thing. Oklahoma's the newcomers, right? We don't have a lot of history with them. I don't know a lot about Oklahoma football, but I'm a guy who I like to dabble on the links every once in a while. Not as much as Cousin Shane, but I'll get out and I'll hit the links every once in a while. And I'm a big guy, right? I'm like 6'5", 250 on a bad day. So, if I get a hold of the ball off the tee box, I can let it ride. But the issue is I'm not playing golf every day like Cousin Shane. So it usually takes me 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 holes before I can get a hold of one. But, man, when I get a hold of one, there's an involuntary response. And I got to let it rip. Whenever I get my first one, especially my first big one of the year, and I've been saying it for years, I don't know where it came from, but it's involuntary now. Just a big old boomer freaking Sooner. Woo! And I start just, you know what? Oklahoma just piped one 300 yards right down the middle of the fairway because John Napier is that guy, and he's so much of that guy that it kind of pisses me off, Mike. Like they went through the roughest time of their lives because they had to go 3 years without a generational talent at quarterback, right? Like, oh, you didn't have a Heisman guy. Oh, sorry, no Caleb Williams, no Kyler Murray, no Baker Mayfield. It's like, oh, you had to go 3 whole years. I'm so sorry. It's like, I would kill for just one. I haven't seen my team have a 3,000-yard passer since 2012, okay? Like, it's just this guy is awesome. When I was going back and watching it, the throw that he had, I want to get this right. So it's third quarter. I believe they're only down 7. Michigan, they struck back pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3rd and long from like a little past midfield in their own territory. Michigan dials up the perfect blitz. He is humming. Napier looks dead to rights. He somehow wiggles free through it, has another guy coming at him, and then just like haphazardly off one foot, launches the damn ball 40 yards downfield, sets up the touchdown, and that basically puts the game away. It's like, that was a like, you just like, oh, damn. Your jaw drops when you see throws like that. And the craziest part too, Mike, this is only week 2, man. And I know September Heisman's, you got to keep the momentum, but like, it feels like they're leaving a lot out there. I mean, the trick play that went incomplete, like they're like just fractions off here and there. That interception that he held, like he had 350 total yards of offense, give or take, and he could be even better. I worried about him holding up to the physicality of the SEC. I'm not worried about that anymore. Like this guy's the real deal, and he also has some other weapons too. Like Burks had a great game,
Right.
and then I like the white boy too.
And that amazing play
Yeah.
that everybody has seen, certainly by now, I would imagine. What they don't show you, though, is the play right before. Probably should have been an interception. And the only reason I bring that up is because to go from, man, almost cost us one, to, good Lord, like is this reality? You know what I mean? Like to do that back-to-back plays, that's a special talent right there. But yeah, hey, how about this take?
Especially up here.
Right. John Napier is everything they told us Arch Manning was.
I mean, you're not wrong. You can't argue against it.
And Arch Manning is Jackson Arnold. I'm just kidding, but that is out there. Oklahoma fans like saying that.
Oh, I'm sure they do. But and the biggest thing here is like just Napier has the years under his belt, right? Like he looks unfazed out there, whereas Arch is definitely just kind of getting his sea legs underneath him. But I was very skeptical that Oklahoma could put so much on one guy and let him carry them, but that's been the case. And this is that's a big confidence building win. And I talked about it going in to this with you on the show last week, but this was one where you felt like, oh, well, if they can go out here and take care of business, and if they do it in a certain way, it makes you think that they can be one of the top 4 teams in the Southeastern Conference. And the part that really showed it to me, I'm going back to the well again too, is because as good as Napier is, sometimes you just got to be able to ice a game away. And what did they do when the game is on the line? 9 minutes to go. You got a 7-point lead, I want to say. Yeah, 7-11, something like that. 16-play drive. They ran it 11 times, and it took up 8.5 minutes. They had to settle for a field goal, but that was the 2-score. That was what they needed. That was everything they needed in that drive. I know Jay Nod has had the sort of health stuff where they're wondering, and there's reasons to worry, like, hey, this guy isn't what he thought he was. But even with that guy playing terribly and giving you absolutely nothing when you wanted him to be your bell cow, I still don't even know what the hell his mysterious injury is. They still ran the damn ball and salted the game away. Completely salted the game away against a physical unit that's got a bunch of future pros on it. I know Michigan has their faults, and Oklahoma took advantage of them. They got in Bryce Underwood's ass. But that was an impressive win. The fact that Oklahoma could say, you know what, we've been pretty good with this Napier guy, but you know what, let's go salt this game away. Let's play some hard-nosed football. I'm fired up for that Oklahoma-Auburn game. I know we got to wait a little bit longer for it, but that is Jackson Arnold going back to town. I mean, there's Oklahoma fan fiction right now just fantasizing about Napier dropping 5 touchdowns and 450 passing yards. Just like, oh, God, just please, just get us out. Because then if you win that one, then you start thinking, well, shit, what if we beat Texas? What if we're the best team in the SEC? Which nobody was going to say before the season, but Napier might just be the best player in college football. That's not crazy to say. That's not. He's been the best through 2 weeks. I know it's 2 weeks. It's a bad Illinois State team and a Michigan team that's probably an 8-4 kind of club. But dream big, Sooner fans. This is what this game was for. This was for you to dream big. If you lost it, then it's like, oh God, here we go again. Dream big. You might be in Atlanta in December.
Hey, so that's a perfect segue. I was going to ask you, should Tennessee fans be dreaming big? Any thoughts on Georgia coming to town? College game day. Haven't beaten Georgia since the Hail Mary. It's been eight in a row for Georgia.
Ooh.
But this looks like the most beatable Georgia that Tennessee has faced. And first time, Nick, I know you're an avid SEC guy, but the first time in a long time, this is usually November. This is usually Georgia has their identity. This is
Vern Lundquist is in the booth.
Right. So it's
Gary
slightly different here, but maybe I'm just grasping at straws here. I don't know.
I think Georgia was sleepwalking last week. Looked ahead a little bit. Gunnar Stockton's going to present some problems. They're going to be able to dial it up. The thing with Georgia that's different, I think more so than anything, it's weird that they just don't have these badass running backs. It's just weird to see from afar. I do like that Tennessee has been challenged more to this point, and it's a home game. This is one of those, though, that I think Aguilar has a bad pick at some point in Georgia, just because Kirby Smart owns the traditional SEC East, and Heupel's next up. Stoops tried knocking on that door for a while. I just can't imagine Kirby relinquishing it to Aguilar. Like I think you got to have a little bit more elite talent there. But this does feel like a sort of old school slobber knocker where neither offense is really able to get one over on the other.
And then I've been asking everybody this, and this might pain you, so feel free to be truthful here, and it won't hurt me. But could you see a scenario where Tennessee loses to Georgia, but they still make the SEC championship? Which that might sound crazy, but we're not in the East anymore, and all of a sudden Alabama doesn't look as elite. Florida, who knows?
Right.
Oklahoma looks like $1 million, but that's basically in my mind, if they can split at Bama and Oklahoma at home, I think Tennessee goes to the SEC championship regardless of what happens on Saturday.
No. God damn it! No, I don't. No.
Okay, I mean that's fair.
That's my
fair
analysis. That you just no. I don't want that to happen.
All right.
Like freaking Heupel. Gosh, why does he have to be good? Can you bring Butch Jones back?
How about A&M Notre Dame? Any thoughts on that? That's a huge game for A&M to see if they're legitimate or not.
This is one where Marcel Reed, you were the prince that was promised. Go be it. Because and I feel like him and Carr are a little similar, but Carr is like a year behind. But that was this ugly slobber knocker a year ago. It's going to be another physical knockdown, drag them out game. Ultimately, I think the road test is going to be hard, but this is just like it's all on Marcel Reed's shoulders. Like, go do it. I have little faith. But that's one of those unders. It can't make it low enough. I'm taking the under. Whatever it is, I'm taking it.
I know they lost, but they looked pretty good against Miami in the opener, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It was weird though. Week 2 bye. I don't love that coming off a loss, coming off a week 2 bye.
Yeah, it was weird, and they also didn't really run the ball with Love a lot, so it was a weird game. It's a weird game.
Any thoughts on? We hit on Billy Napier quite a bit. Florida at LSU, trap game.
No. Brian Kelly, he was just ripping his team's ass. They had their trap game last week. He was killing them. I think LSU is going to light him up, but it could be a situation. Actually, no. Who am I kidding? Like Florida. Good luck. Just good luck with Billy Napier, man.
We talked a little bit Ole Miss, but we haven't talked at all Arkansas. Taylon Green is red hot, leads the SEC, 10 passing touchdowns. He's top 10 SEC in rushing as well. Any shot Arkansas at Ole Miss? I know last year Ole Miss destroyed them, but aside from that, every matchup between Lane Kiffin and Sam Pittman, they've been drunk, they've been wild. This is a fun series.
This is going to be drunk and wild. It's going to be high scoring. We're taking the over. A lot of points there. I mean, Ole Miss, like Kentucky, scored 23. Arkansas is going to put up some points. This will be a fun one. So we got a little under, we got a little over action. So this will be a fun slate, a fun week 3 slate. I'm fired up for it.
Yeah, and we already talked Vanderbilt, South Carolina. You're kind of an early lean on Vanderbilt. You
love
said
love Vandy this week. So should be a good one. I can't wait to see Pavia just like smirking at Shane Beamer. They're gonna fight. There's no doubt in my mind.
All right, Dick. Thank you so much. Latest Roush Hour. Any closing thoughts before you jump off here?
It's always a pleasure hanging with you, Mike. Let's do it again next week.
Absolutely. And before you go, remind the cousins, how can they follow you? How can they find your work?
I'm at Roush KSR. So come see about it over here at KentuckySportsRadio.com.
Yeah, I can only imagine the fun you guys will be having in the weeks to come. You know what?
So much fun, Mike. Thanks for bringing it up, buddy.
All right. So thanks again, Nick. Again, we'll be back later this evening with Cousin Shane. We're going to preview all these games. 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central. Be there or be square. Bye-bye.
Hey, buddy, this beer's for you, Mike, and Cousin Shane. That SEC podcast loves the Pirate, and the Pirate loves that SEC podcast. Hail State.